This is too zoomed in. Okay, here we are. Hi. Hello. Welcome back to the Just Okay podcast. It took me way too long to figure out how to fix my camera to record today. I have a cough because I smoked out of a bong last week, and if you've been on this channel, you know I have asthma and I should not be smoking. It's been, I think, like 3 weeks since I posted a video. It's kind of becoming a monthly thing right now just because life is hectic. I've been back and forth from Houston still. The last time I went to Houston, it was so much fun. I fed stingrays while I was stoned. My boyfriend was drunk feeding stingrays. It was a blast. I got back home, and the next day my roommate was like, I'm moving in with my boyfriend. And so that was fun. That was fun timing, because then the next day, Willie started shitting blood. So that was $1,800 of an investment into his life. But yeah, that was unexpected. He does have health insurance. I don't. My dog, what does that say about America that my dog has health insurance and I don't? So I will say, since it cost $1,800, we finally met the deductible for his health insurance. So hopefully I get some money back. I don't know. He's never shit blood, so I got very freaked out. Turns out they're like, it could just be hemorrhoids. And he's got pink eye. I was like, great. Cost that much to figure this out. Fun. But I'm glad he is okay. He does have an enlarged liver. He's got to stop drinking. My dog's got an enlarged liver because he's a fucking alcoholic. He's down in those beers. But yeah, he does have an enlarged liver, and which is weird because he's so skinny. But yeah, he is on now 2 liver pills a day because he's gonna get so tiny. He's such a tiny little liver. Where is it? It's the size of his waist. It's so tiny. So it's kind of been nonstop stuff. My big pet peeve recently has been, and I go through phases where this bugs me, but one of my she's the biggest flake of all time. She's one of those people who hop from relationship to relationship, but it's like a long-term relationship. She does 3 weeks of being single, and then you won't see her for 5 years. The newest guy is a man that is paid for his old coworker from Lowe's private Snapchat, which, like, okay, leave him. It's one thing for him to be like into porn, but he's like, I'm addicted to porn. I was like, sure, that's it. I feel like a lot of, I don't know, maybe like all my guy friends, they have the coolest girlfriends, and then all my girlfriends are dating like the worst dudes, and then they start to like gaslight you the way that he does to them. And I'll be like, he screamed at you on the phone. And she's like, he's just passionate. And it's like, I think he has anger issues. I don't think he's passionate. I think he's passionate at being a dick to you. Maybe he's passionate about that. Maybe he's passionate about being controlling. That could be it. But he's not like passionate, like in overall. I don't, like if he's that passionate, then why hasn't he gotten out of his fucking garage and got a job? That's neither here nor there. But yeah, I've been really fed up recently with girls who like drop friends when they get boyfriends. That's a big thing, because it's happened to me like 2-3 times in the past year. One with childhood best friend, which I'm kind of just at the point where I'm like, whatever. She was the first flake in my life. She literally flaked so hard. She told me, come on this mission trip to Ecuador with my mom and I. So I was like, sure, I'd love to go on a mission trip to Ecuador with you and your mom. I love you guys. So I signed up for the mission trip. Also, I think I'm 14 at the time. So 14-year-old me going to Ecuador because she and her mom are going. Those are the only 2 people I really know besides this other guy who I grew up with. Later ended up being outed on Twitter for being a racist, but back then we didn't know how bad he was racist, but we knew he was racist. Anyways, also his mom was the head of Mission Strip. Basically, he got canceled on Twitter. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I should have. pausing the first story. We're talking about this guy getting canceled on Twitter now. This guy, Holden, he got canceled on Twitter because he had a private Finsta, which is like a fake Instagram, if you don't know. We all had those in college. But instead of like him posting him drinking, it was him with like little kids in Haiti on a mission trip calling them the N-word. And so someone screenshotted them, as they should, and it blasted him on Twitter. I saw him like last year at a barbecue and like some bar off of like East 6 with him and his new racist baby. His Raby, I guess. But yeah, so he was on the mission trip with me. Great. And my friend who, her and her mom told me to go on the mission trip to Ecuador didn't go. So I was stuck on that. And then there's this like older guy who like literally had like a faux hawk. Classic Christian like youth pastor vibe of like a faux hawk. And then like he let me flirt with him because, let's be real, youth pastors want the validation from young women. Fucking weird as shit. Also, I say young woman. I was a girl. I was 14, and this guy ate it up like it was, but he was like 5 years older. It was weird. It's like, you're 21. Why are you like, I just got my period 2 years ago. What is this? But yeah, that was a overall weird trip. I mean, it was such a 14. What a weird time in my life. I remember like 2 years before that is when everyone got really into purity rings. Like, I don't know if y'all were around, but Nick Jonas and Joe Jonas got purity rings, which I'm sure Kevin had one too, but who really like was like, I'm saving myself for Kevin. No one was saving themselves for Kevin. I'm so sorry, Kevin, but the girls that save themselves for you probably gay and managing a GameStop. And that's okay. But everyone got purity rings around that time. I lost mine. Not because I'm a slut. It fell in a toilet. If that isn't a euphemism for how I fucking lost my virginity, crazy. I might have as well lost my purity ring in a toilet. Instead, I lost it to some guy that was 6'7". He was a year and a half younger than me, but he was 6'7", so I thought he was older before everything started. And, yeah, it was such an ordeal to lose it, too, because he got condoms, and then he washed his pants with the condoms in it, so they all melted together, so then he had to get another. It was a whole thing. Yeah, but if I lost it to a toilet seat, probably would have been better. I actually saw that guy recently at a liquor store. He's, despite him and I stealing so much booze back in our day, now he's ruining kids' dreams of doing what we did. And he knows all the tricks of the trade. So he's living his best life as a security guard. Super uncomfortable when I see him. Because I only go to liquor stores to get weed drinks like this. And unfortunately, I have to now send my friends in to be like, is the coast clear? Because I don't want to see this guy. But yeah. Purity rings. I was talking about purity rings this time. Purity ring. Yeah, I don't know. I remember thinking this is so weird at 12 years old that all these girls are like, I'm saving myself for Jesus. Saving myself for Jesus. I'm like, I don't think Jesus, you mean the Son of God? You think he wants your 12-year-old little hoo-ha? No, thank you. He's not your creepy uncle. He's the Son of God. He hangs out with prostitutes. He deserves a professional if he's going to. I don't know. Do we think Jesus was asexual? Or do you think he, like, beat it? Probably not. He was perfect. I love you, Jesus. He was perfect. He is perfect. Yahweh. Yahweh up. Okay. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Just asking all the questions. You guys wouldn't dare to. Mission trip to Ecuador. My friend completely bailed on it, which isn't the first time she bailed at that age, but like that was the most extreme I think I've ever been bailed on, was an entire fucking mission trip to Ecuador, because then I was just stuck going on it. And it was like fine. It was fine. I mean, I wasn't with like the best, but it was fine. I liked the other girls that went. There were like 2 other girls I got along with. Kept in touch with absolutely no one, and love that. That's how it should be. Also, I am so anti mission trips now as an adult. I think we should be donating to like groups that are already there. Like if you want to go on a trip to Ecuador, go on a trip to Ecuador, but like don't raise money for it. I think you should just go. Don't get other people to pay for like your mission trip. Like it's a vacation for you to take photos and go around Ecuador. I had a great time. I loved it. A 10 out of 10 experience. However, it's basically modern day colonization. Let's be real. We aren't like that money we raised could have done so much more for the organizations that were already there rather than sending me there. We stayed at a commune. That was freaky. The food was incredible. Not necessarily at the commune, but like overall in Ecuador. Only thing that gave me the true like ugh, was eating guinea pig. I was like, wait, they eat guinea pig in Ecuador. I was like, wait till you guys hear about Petco. Okay, we have a bunch of these fuckers. But the guinea pigs in Ecuador, they all look like little walking toupees because they had like the biggest flow of all time. It was so pretty. It would have made like every balding man in America so angry. Like, I'm 90% sure that they make toupees out of guinea pigs after seeing how adorable and how fucking flowy they were. Yeah. Men's receding hairlines wishes they could be they wish they could be those guinea pigs. But yeah, I ate a guinea pig there. It tasted like chicken gone bad. Like, I didn't like it, but it's a delicacy, so you don't really say no when you're offered it, or else it's offensive. And when I took a bite, there was gallbladder in it. Oof, did not like that one. I spit it into a napkin and pretended I was really happy with it. I was like, oh my God, so good. But yeah, that was, oh God, I could not tell you what year that was. I think I was 14 again. Not positive. I have had a lot of weed in my lifetime. I don't remember. Dates are fuzzy. I'm done smoking. Now I'm drinking weed, which what an experience to be going to the liquor store to buy weed drinks, weed seltzers. As someone that is 4 years sober of alcohol, I have become a regular at a liquor store. What a timeline we live in. Wow. That's just noting that. I have been partaking a lot in marijuana this year. I go through phases where like I'm always really into marijuana. But God, I feel like I have been in constant, like, just a state of chaos this year that it's so nice to relax at night with a little bit of weed. Just a little bit of weed. What am I going to do? Eat too much? No. I feel like I'm really at peace, more or less, with my body and my size. Yeah, I accept it. I'm a size medium, and that's okay. You guys knew it the whole time. Like, I'm some, like, gay guy that comes out of musical theater and I'm like, I like boys. It's like, yeah, we knew, but like, I came to terms at being a size medium in my own pace. Relax. I just feel like I'm very fortunate. However, this year has also been so challenging and like challenging in a good way. You know, I know it's only going to bring growth, and growth is like, we love that. We hate the process, but we love the end result of growth. It's been so stressful that I got back into therapy, which I highly recommend therapy if you've never done it. You know, you should probably give it a whirl. I think it's great. I think everyone could benefit from it. But I hadn't gone to therapy in a very long time. I've had like really insanely like comically bad therapists in my lifetime. I've majority of the time gone to Christian therapists when it's been IRL. So like my first therapist, first when I was 4, my parents put me into anger management because they were like, there's something wrong with her. She's angry. Instead of being like, what's causing this? Oh, anxiety. Oh, you're putting a child in anxious environments. Of course she's going to react this way. But you know, I'm the issue, not my mother, not my father. It's me. So did that. That was crazy. The lady had more anger issues than me. I vividly remember hiding under chairs from her. And my mom even says that bitch was like rude as fuck, which is crazy to be teaching anger management when you're the one who needs anger management. Then I went to this woman named Janie, I think. She was super Christian, but she would tell my mom everything after. And I don't know that because I'm a kid, technically she was allowed to, but that's shitty. It didn't build trust. It honestly made my life at home a lot harder. As well as she would told my sister to break up with her now husband because he wasn't a Christian, which weird. I don't know. It was just weird. I don't know. Any biblical therapy, I'm very like, ugh. I'm like, I like if we're spiritually on the same page, but anyways, moving past my next therapist, Vanessa. Um, Super crazy. My God, the way she was like a horrible therapist. Looking back, my mom has always managed to find doctors that don't follow rules, I guess. Um, yeah, she was crazy. I knew so much about her, which therapy wise, like I shouldn't know anything about my therapist. That's like a whole thing in therapy is you shouldn't know anything about your therapist, to an extent, and my therapist was very open politically with me. She was hardcore MAGA, raised in Israel, however, like wasn't Israeli, just I think her very interesting life, but she was like super MAGA Trump supporter. She made it very clear that even though I was bi, being gay was a sin. It's just like insane. She was a crazy woman. She yeah. She was a really bad therapist. I will give her benefit. She helped me with boundaries because I implemented one in firing her. And then she also did help me with EMDR therapy, which I find extremely beneficial. I highly recommend it to people. And, for the time she was good in certain aspects, but looking back, I'm like, that's not how a professional in the mental health industry should be behaving. Yeah, so it was what it was. It was what it was. And I'm glad to be not seeing her anymore. Then I had a great therapist, loved her. I'm not been going through my therapy history with you guys. My next therapist, loved her to death, so professional. She was such a rule follower. I loved it. But she quit therapy overall because I found her on BetterHelp. I've had one good therapist on BetterHelp and then 2 really bad therapists on BetterHelp. So that happened. She quit. I moved to New York City, and when I was in New York, super suicidal. I know for a fact I've talked about this whole subject before, but I'm going to go into it anyways if you're new here. When I was in New York, I was very suicidal after a couple months of living there. I was at a very dark place, and so I joined BetterHelp again, and I found a therapist, and she was really obsessed with the fact I was a comic. It was this older lady, didn't live in the city, and I kept putting pins in things. I mentioned my sibling transition, then detransitions. She's like, that's why we got to make trans illegal. I was like, okay, trans transitioning illegal. Crazy. I'm like, let people do what they want with their body. Who gives a fuck? Cut your dick off, put a vagina in, take that vagina out, put a dick back on. I don't care. But yeah, that was truly crazy that she said that. And then the last session, she mentioned Robin Williams wasn't funny, but he was talented and she still liked him, and then ended on why blackface wasn't racist. I was like, oh, I have to not just fire you, I have to report you. I guess you're giving me a reason to live, which is to report and fire you, but come on. Secretly, was she the greatest therapist of all time to get me to not kill myself so I could do those tasks? Maybe. But yeah. And then finally, I broke down maybe a week ago, because life's been a lot. It's good, and I am so fortunate in this life I live, blah, 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 blah. Hashtag happy and healthy and love my friends in life and everything. Hashtag blessed. But I've been looking into therapy a little bit recently, and then I went on Reddit because it was just I need to figure out a good alternative to BetterHelp that is more affordable for therapy. And so I'm mentioning this mainly because I want I've had one therapy session with a therapist that is very qualified and good at her job. I researched a lot, and I found this website called Open Path. So if you can't afford therapy, it's a $65 lifetime membership to the website to all their different therapists. I don't have health insurance, and so this was great. And now I found a therapist who they do therapy on this website ranges between $30 to $70 for individual, and I'm doing $50 a session, and it's great. I really am happy with it, and it was just so refreshing to meet with someone who was professional, wasn't telling me all about their lives. Oh yeah, crazy. Okay, so putting a pin in this. Great to be in a great. I'm very happy. But that MAGA therapist, okay, she she was divorced, and I mentioned this before, and I like to mention it again because this still bewilders me how she thought this was okay to say, or even jump to this conclusion. I'm not like, I had 2 one-night stands a month apart. I could only afford to see this therapist once a month, so both of those sessions I had one-night stands people before, and she told me I've only had sex with 2 people because she's divorced and has a new husband. She's like, I only had sex with 2 people, but I wish it were 1. It's like, okay, slut. But okay, slut. No, just kidding. But she was like telling me because I had those one night stands, she was like, I think you might be a sex addict. And I was like, I'm not a sex addict. I'm not even like that present when I'm having sex. I just needed validation at the time, which if she was a good therapist, she would have known that. But yeah, what a weird therapist timeline I've had. But yeah, so back in therapy, it all worked out well. Good things are happening. But yeah, I do get really down when I feel like my friends are dating shitty men, because I'm like, oh, if I'm honest, I'm too honest of a person to like not like when I see my friends in danger, because there are things guys do that just like are past the normal red flags. And I've seen it with a couple of friends where, and this maybe happened a few years ago, one of my friends was in a bad relationship where like this wasn't like normal red flags per se. This was like fucking Confederate red of a flag that this guy had. And my God, she just was like, well, you don't know him like I do. Like, it's like, yeah, thank God I don't know him like you do. Thank God. If I knew him like you do, he'd feel comfortable yelling at me too. No, thank you. You know, like, thank God I don't know him like you do. And it just, like, when shit like that happens, I get really sad, but I'm like, I can't get you out of it. All I can do is be honest. But it is the shitty thing about trying to be a good friend during those times is that they end up blocking you out most of the time, because whether he's trying to isolate them, I think that's just so common in toxic relationships, is like when you see a friend with a shitty guy and he starts isolating her or him, whatever, like, because there's nothing you can do. You said the honest piece, and now you just got to be like, well, this is how it is. I'll see you when y'all break up. Hope it's soon. But hope you survive. I'm lucky. I am lucky in the aspect I haven't had to deal with like friends who have been in like really bad domestic violence situation. Well, I had one friend that was dating like a guy who like was, I want to say a felon, but I think he wasn't even like I think I'm not positive. I don't have many details, very vague with me. But like it was just like, I want to just be like, bitch, what the fuck? I know I've dated shaded. I never dated like a crazy, like, I remember I found out this guy I was seeing was selling guns, and I was like, I'm sorry, like, not legally. And so I was just like, sorry, nice knowing you, see you never. I could not do that. The first time I ever bought cocaine by myself, I flushed it down the toilet 2 hours later because I was so paranoid the FBI knew. Like, I can't do sketchy people like that. Like, the sketchiest guy I dated was probably the guy I lost my virginity to, because he got me into smoking weed, and that was bad. No, that's truly the best thing I got out of that relationship. But yeah, like I've never really dated sketchy men. It gives me, I know, so, I don't understand why people like to live in a state of constant panic. I'm already in constant panic. Why would I want to add to it? Like, I mean, it's just, I can't. I sold, allegedly sold pot brownies in college, and every day I truly thought Greg Abbott's going to roll up on the third floor of this walk up and arrest me. Oh yeah, the vote, we voted. That happened too. You vote for James Scott Tallarico this fall. Yippee. I really just want Texas to be fucking better. Why do we have Greg Abbott? He doesn't stand. He can't, literally. And it is what it is. But it's, why do we need him? Why? I mean, they on March 31st, you're not allowed to buy smokable hemp products in Texas. So basically, they're banning like smoking joints and weed. But the other stuff is still legal for now. But it's just what a crazy world we live in, where they're like, yeah, we started another war. Yeah, we might be under doing a little dictatorship right now. And yeah, our tax dollars go to fund universal health care in another country. You don't deserve to chill. Let's take away the one thing that makes you relax. Go drink and wake up with anxiety the next day instead. So you can be sharp when we draft you for this war you didn't ask for. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to get into another war because it's like, can we just like breathe? Can we just like breathe for a second as a country? Just like one day where we do nothing, where we just like relax. I would love that, you know? Can we just have a one piece day? Can we be like, hey guys, today do some yoga. Take a shot of ashwagandha. Drink some chamomile tea. Sit in a comfy little blanket. And watch Scrubs. However, no. That is not the case. And that is okay. Life is going to be okay. Things work out exactly how they're supposed to. It's just weird in the process. I hope this was an okay episode. I'm really like sorry. I'm trying to post once a month right now. It's been so fucking much. I've been back and forth and I just don't have the capacity for another project doing my #best. But love you guys. Thank you for watching and I hope you have a great day. Also, I'll be in Orlando. I'll be in Orlando, Florida, April 17th, 9 p.m. at Alex's Underground Comedy Club. Everything will be linked down below. I also am every Saturday, besides that Saturday, I'm at Creek in the Cave, 11 p.m. Love you. Bye-bye.